Hey, we are back again, and the copycat is back. Today we are going to make the T word, which is the terrible T word that everybody says, tofu. Yes, if you're a vegan, you only eat tofu. Not true. There's so many things today on the market that you can eat, but tofu has come a long way. Tofu, you can make a lot of different things. I'm going to show you like 3 different recipes on tofu and different firmnesses and different dishes that you can make, and dessert actually you can make out of tofu, which tofu is healthy, it's good, and it's filling. Number one, it's filling, and it will taste good. And people look at the texture and they look at it and they say it doesn't taste good. One of the reasons is tofu will take on what you make it. So if you make it in pineapple with it, it'll taste like pineapple. You put garlic and onions with it, it'll taste like garlic and onions. So basically it gives you a texture of a meat. It gives you fullness of a meat, but it's not that. So you can easily become vegan and be healthy and be filling with tofu. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So let's get started. Today I'm going to make tofu scramble, which really takes the place of eggs. So if you have a brunch, it's a great dish for brunch. It's a great dish for breakfast. Great for breakfast. So you use a set of eggs, you're going to be using this tofu scramble, and you're going to see how it looks kind of like eggs when I'm done with it, but it tastes a lot better, has a lot of good flavor, and it's healthy, and also makes a lot. So if you're doing it for a family, you got a lot of it for really a really little price. Tofu is not expensive, it's inexpensive, and the cost of the dish itself is great, especially for a family. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up eggs. Excuse me, no eggs. I'm going to chop up onions. You have to keep in mind that I don't, if I make a mistake or something, all you have to do is like email me, go to Camille at Camille'sCopycat.com. And you have to always keep in mind, I'm not Joanna Gange. I don't have like a whole camera crew that can bring the camera in, take it out if I make a mistake. So bear with me. I only have one person, Bernard. He's doing a great job, especially what he's got to work with. So bear with me. If you have any questions, please email me. So let's get started. First, we're going to chop up the onion, and I'm also going to try to keep some of the stuff out of the way so you can see what I'm actually doing. Because most of the times in my video, I have stuff everywhere, but I need it in front of me. So mainly so I don't forget it. And also, I want you to be able to see the items that I make and the things that I use. I'm going to chop up the onion right now. I'm going to put it in my little baby Cuisinart. And this little baby Cuisinart, by the way, is a great product to have. And once again, people, please don't feel that you have to go out and just purchase everything that I show you. You got to realize I've been doing this for a long time, and I gather things. I say, well, this will work for me, this will work for me, and I found the things that have worked for me. So right now we're going to just throw this in. You don't have to be precise, just kind of chunk it up because the Cuisinart will do the work for you. Let's throw that in there. And I think I can get it all in there in one shot. Let's try and see if we get lucky here. So, put that in. I don't know, we'll see. And one of the things too, on this baby Cuisinart, by the way, this product here is really nice to have because it's convenient, it's small, it's not big like your bigger Cuisinart that you need bigger jobs for. But what it really does is it chops and grinds. So I usually go one way and then I go the other way. I like to get it nice and chopped. So let's see how it's doing. Yep, perfect. Perfect, in fact. So what you use, this is what I use. You can use whatever you want, but I use a plant-based vegan butter, and I like Earth Balance and I like Smart Balance, both of them. So use whatever one that you can get and it's available to you. And then I use olive oil. One thing too I've noticed about olive oils, and this is entirely up to you, you're going to use probably about a tablespoon of each. Maybe 2 tablespoons of the olive oil and 1 tablespoon of the butter. And what I've noticed about olive oils too on the market is I like olive oil, but it's maybe it's me and maybe it's personal. Some of the olive oils are a little strong. You probably have noticed that. You can actually see it. some of them are real green in the bottle. If you like that, go for it. I like a milder olive oil, which is kind of that yellower looking one, and I think the reason why I like it, it doesn't, when I cook with it, I don't want it to take away the taste of the food that I'm cooking with. Also, when I do hummus, I use olive oil, and I don't like a real strong olive oil in my hummus. So that's kind of why I shied away from it, but you can use, like I said, whatever you want. Now your onions, I chop these up fine, and I like that because when you're going to do a tofu dish, it's really nice to have it really fine. And if you're a good chopper, hey, just go ahead and chop them yourself. So I'm going to put these in right now. Keep it on like a medium heat, not too high like I normally do. Always put everything on high, trying to get it done quick. So, going to get the onions out. And I did one whole onion, about a medium-sized onion is good. And you know, if you don't really like onions, you can use onion powder or, you know, whatever you want to use. That's up to you. Now, on your onions, you're going to just saute them until they become like clear. You're going to do this first before you do anything at all. And then you're going to cut up a garlic. I usually can do, like I said, if you want it really minced fine, you can throw it in the food processor, the Cuisinart, or you can put it in a garlic press, however you want to do it. I'm not that kind of person. I only use it if I really need real fine, then I'll use the press. But I just take my garlic, and that is a large clove garlic. You want one large one or two small ones. And I just chop it up. We're not going to put that in until last because garlic has a tendency to burn, as we all know. So do not put garlic in until you absolutely have to. So I'm going to leave that for later. And right now we got my onions going over there. We're going to go see what they're doing. And I'm going to throw this away. I'll try to keep some of this cleaned up for you so you can see what I'm doing. Now, one of the things this is kind of important. Let me watch this here. It's getting a little clear there. It's starting to get clear. So I always like to take and sprinkle just a little bit of salt. I don't know, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon on my onions. I've always been that way. I've always liked to salt my onions. It seems to give them better flavor. Also, now on the tofu, I use this organic tofu, and it's Nasoya. It's really the #1 brand. You can get it anywhere, you can probably get it just about any market. I use the firm one on this. Do not use extra firm on this. And I'm going to show you, that's one of the things I'm going to be showing you, the different tofus and the different firmness and why. This one here I'm using firm, which isn't firm, but it's firm. So what I did is for about an hour, I took it and I wrapped it in a paper towel. And then I wrapped it in a towel, and then I put a press over it. Put anything heavy over it and get most of the water out of it. Now the extra firm, you don't have to do all this. You can pretty much just get the water out. And that one I'm going to show you next time. Right now you can see how I pressed it and how it's really good. But I'm not going to cut it up. I'm just going to crumble it. So let's go check on those onions. Right now I'm going to set that aside. Then we're going to put our celery and our carrots in the onions and our pepper. We're going to do all that. So, need a red pepper. I would only do half. You don't need to do any more than that. Unless you really like red peppers a lot. I always think peppers kind of overpower the dish sometimes. And I don't want everything tasting like red pepper. So you're just going to, you don't have to be real precise with this stuff. You're just going to chop it up. You know, I don't want you to make anything any harder than what, you think, oh my God, that's too hard, that's going to take too long. None of this, any of these dishes so far that I've been making are going to take a long time. I am going to be doing some dishes that do, and I will fair warn you that they are time consuming, but very well worth it to do these. The reward is worth it. So now we're going to stick the red peppers in there. That's the word I needed. Reward. Okay, so celery, You know how you do your celery, you just chop it up. And if you have questions, like I said, feel free to email me. Basically, keep in mind if some of these things, like I am going to be using some canned tomatoes. You can use fresh tomatoes. You can use whatever you do. Right now, my garden, which I love, I get things out of it, but right now the tomatoes aren't one of them. And usually when I have tomatoes, a lot of these dishes I'll make then because I have fresh tomatoes. But I'm going to be using canned right now because I don't have fresh. And I will show you what I do with that. Okay, so we're going to put the celery in, we're going to put the green peppers, and the red pepper. And you don't have to, but I personally like a carrot in mine. And the reason why I like a carrot is because it makes it like a little sweeter, gives it like a sweetness to it. So just chop it up, just little tiny chunks, not very big. You don't need it very big. And once again, people, anytime, feel free to change these up to your liking, what you like and what you don't like. All right, so now we got the carrot in there. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit and get those going. I sometimes put mushrooms in mine. This one I'm not going to. If you're making it for kids, a lot of times they don't like mushrooms. A lot of times they don't like tomatoes, which I'm going to use diced tomatoes, and I'm going to use a half of the can. I am going to be making this for kids, and sometimes young people, I've noticed, I don't know why, but they don't like tomatoes, and I don't know what's going on with that. But if they don't, you can eliminate the tomatoes completely, or once again, tomatoes are going to taste different in this dish because of the spice. So they might not even really realize it or even bother saying they don't like it because it does taste completely different. So now the tofu, what we're going to do is we're going to I'm going to let that cook for a few minutes, and we're actually going to crumble the tofu. And I'm going to let this cook for a few minutes. Basically, you're going to be using probably about teaspoon and a half of salt and pepper. It's to your liking, once again. I'm going to put a little bit more salt on this, just a little bit. So, and all, it's probably, like I said, whoops. Okay, we need to get the pepper out of there. All right, let me grab this out. Okay. I like that much pepper. I could eat that much pepper, but we're not going to do that. All right. So now we know we don't need that much pepper. Forgot the lid was off. All right. So, okay, leave that one there. Now, we're going to crumble up the tofu. And I just take my hands and I just crumble them. Just crumble it, like scrambled eggs is what it's going to look like. But I've gotten all the water out of it, which is really good. And like I said, if you got the time, wrap it for at least an hour. If you don't worry about it. Just do the best you can and get as much water as you possibly can. If you know you're going to make it, leave it out and wrap it and let it set. You do want at least some texture, so I'd say a firm tofu. A medium is too mushy. There's also a real soft silken tofu that I'm going to make a really incredible dish out of, and I will show you. All right, so just kind of, and I didn't put any more pepper in there, so we know we got enough of that. You're just going to kind of go around, but I'll tell you what, the spices I put in, and keep in mind too, if you don't like something, like I said, always change it up. Okay, so that's kind of doing its thing. I would go ahead and put the garlic in now and put that around and turn that down a little bit. Now these spices, entirely up to you. This is cilantro lime. This is kind of seasonal. It's by Tones. You can get it online, you can get it in most stores, but it's seasonal. I do like it, and like I said, you can use what you can use fresh cilantro, fresh lime if you want to. This is an amazing, amazing spice. If you can get it, by all means, you should get this and use this in a lot of your foods. It is like a French. It's Herbes de Provence. That's what I think I said it right. Herbes de Provence, and it's a savory lavender and a French blend. It's kind of Frenchy, but it really, really makes your food, gives you a really a flavor that is unique, very unique, and people are like, what is that? But yet nice, really good. It's not harmful. People don't say, oh my God, I don't like it. It's not something you gotta rush out and get, but if you ever get a chance to get it, do try to get it. But this, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this or not, this black salt is amazing, especially if you're just starting to be vegan and you cannot really give up eggs. You really like eggs. This will make your stuff taste like anything you put it in, it will taste just like eggs. It smells like eggs and it will taste. Now, I'm only gonna put a half a teaspoon and then I'm gonna taste it. It's strong, you gotta watch it, it's strong. There's a lot of spices out there that are strong, you gotta be careful. There's like cumin and curry, and those spices and cloves, those the 3 C's are very strong. You wanna be careful when you use those, and just kind of, when you use strong spices, kind of taste it and then go from there. So we're gonna use just a half a teaspoon. If I think it needs a little more, I'll do a little more. But this black salt will make it taste like egg. I'm not a real egg person, so if you are, you use the whole teaspoon, I would say. Now we're gonna use a teaspoon of the rest of the herbs. Right now I'm only gonna throw in half the can of the tomatoes. And just kind of let it go for a minute. Let's see what's going on. I am using a cast iron skillet. I like a cast iron skillet a lot of times for making this dish. Feel free to use whatever you want, but I do like a cast iron skillet for this. Okay, so the turmeric, this is the key to making it look more like eggs. Black salt makes it taste like eggs. So in the turmeric, I'm going to use probably a teaspoon. I'm going to use 2 half teaspoons. And we'll see how that goes, and I'll do another half. I never like to do too much of anything because then it makes the flavor taste bad, so I always try to do a little bit at a time. I'm going to do another half teaspoon. Turmeric doesn't have a lot of flavor. It's not something that you have to be worried about. The main thing here is you're using it to make it look more like a scramble. So when you do it, the turmeric will make it turn yellow. And that's the good thing about it. When it look like eggs, egg whites and yellow yolks. So I would put a little bit of tomatoes because I don't think I put about a half a can. I don't think, or if you're going to use fresh, just maybe use 1 or 2 tomatoes. Or you can use cherry tomatoes, cut up a few. Or no tomatoes at all. So I'll let that cook down for a minute. And now I'm only going to put a pinch of these red pepper flakes in because, like I said, I am going to be making it for some kids. I would put a lot because I like really hot food. So I'm just putting a little bit for flavor. And the herb de Provence, I would definitely put a teaspoon. So we're going to put a teaspoon of that. Okay, pretty good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, let me get this and do this. Okay, so now I'm gonna let that simmer for a few minutes. I'm gonna give it a little taste to see if it needs any more of that black salt, and we'll see what's going on here. Definitely needs some more salt. So let's give it a teaspoon more. And like I said, that's entirely up to you what you want to do with that. But definitely some more salt. And I really don't think it needs, well, I'm going to say maybe some more of that black salt. Let me try it one more time. I'd say that's why I like to taste it and know what's going on. I'm going to say another half a teaspoon of black salt. Okay, so now whoops. Okay, so basically, this is your tofu scramble. If you want, you can put some vegan Parmesan cheese on there. It would taste good. Whatever you want to put on it, anything you want to take away, get yourself some whole wheat bread, has some toast with it, has some hash browns. You got a great morning breakfast. Takes the place of scrambled eggs. You can have it all day long, and you're not going to miss them one bit. So, until next time I'm going to be making tofu, a firmer tofu, extra firm, and this dish is a great side dish for, you can usually substitute it for a meat dish, really. It's going to be, it's really, really, really good. And then after that, I'm going to show you something with the soaking tofu. So you guys, like I said, if you have any questions, please email me, and thank you very much, and I will see you next time.